Hi, welcome to my channel. I've lost 180 pounds with keto, carnivore, and counting calories. Don't forget to check the description to this video. I have links to some of my popular videos, a link to my Amazon account for a lot of things that you all ask about. Don't forget I have a bunch of playlists on the homepage of this channel. Thank you. So one of the things I picked up today was tomatoes. I don't know how other people wash them, but this is how I wash them. I got cold water, and then I spray them with Dawn Power Wash. I mean, if it's good enough for our dishes, it's got to be good enough for our food, right? So then I just kind of mix it around and swish it around. And honestly, this has holes in it, but it usually suds up. So see how it's sudsing up? And I just set it down in there, and I know it's hard to see, but then I just kind of run it through until it quits sudsing up. But that's how I wash off my tomatoes. And so I'm going to do this until the suds stop. And then I put it on a paper plate. I'll show you. I said paper plate. I meant paper towel on a plate. So there's my paper towel on a plate. And because this container has holes in the bottom, but they're not big enough that, so when I wash them, some of the suds, goes out. And so that's how I'm able to do it. But anyway, so then there's my tomatoes and they're washed. But I'm going to go ahead and wash another set. So then that way when those have run out, these will be readily to go. So I'm going to wash these too. I lied. First off, I'm eating one. But I just put them all in here together. And then I'm going to push this back in the corner. Okay, now I'm going to cut up and I'm going to peel and cut up 2 rutabagas. I know I have those really nice plastic disposable cutting boards, but I don't like to use them with this rutabaga. Rutabaga is dipped in wax, so it's kind of yucky, and these are going to be used raw, so I do not want to microwave these. So I need to cut and peel them raw. So anyway, so it's got the wax film on it. So I might try with the peeler. I just bought them this morning. So that means that they were in the refrigerator of my, of my store. But I do not like touching this wax to my counter or on a cutting board that I'm going to cut something else afterwards. It's just really gross. So I just don't do it. Anyway, so yeah. So I'm going to see, like I said, I just got them, oh my gosh, a couple hours ago. So they might not be warm enough for me to peel. I'll have to see. Hey, so far so good. So I guess I am peeling it that way. So, all right, well anyway, I'm going to peel it and then I'll get back to you. Don't worry, quality assurance is on the case. He is watching everything I make. Every move I make. You all watching. Just watching. He is just laying there. He's got his eyes over here just praying something falls. And not just him. That one too. Only this one's under my feet. That's where the other one's standing. Right where I'm supposed to be standing while I'm working. He's making sure I'm doing it right. All right, back to the rutabaga. I've got them cut, got them peeled, and I cut them in half. So now I need slices because we are going to use, I bought a new chopper. I got it before I left for my work trip. And I did that because whether you all saw or didn't see, it was getting harder and harder to cut up my rutabaga. So I needed a new chopper. So I'm just cutting this in some big chunks first because I got to make some for my salads. And so I'm going to do some, I'm probably going to use a whole rutabaga and a half for my salads because I'm going to, this is also for next week because my family's going to be in town. So I'm going to have to make up some quick batches of salads like Saturday evening or Sunday morning. I'm not really sure how it's going to work because the family will be in town. But anyway, so right now I'm just slicing some of these up. When I bought this, I didn't know if I saw it had a slicer, but I didn't know how it worked. So we're going to slice some also because, you know, I'm going to have my, I would like to have some for in the morning, and then I'll have some for next weekend when I, you know, make my breakfast up. So this way I'll make extra, some for tomorrow and then some for next week. So I am going to go ahead and slice some of this. Now don't freak out, I do have to get it started. I have to get it started so that way there's something. I'm holding my fingers up, hopefully high enough. There. So now I can use this. I can use this too. I don't know how this thing works. Those spikes should go down further. I'll use this one for my salads. All right, let's see how much we have here. Now, let me look and see if this is how much this is. Give me just a second. All right, I'm gonna leave it like this. So this will be next Saturday and next Sunday. So I'll put a little sticky on it, and I'll call it breakfast bagel or something like that. And I'll pull it out like maybe Wednesday, I guess. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna pop this in the freezer, and we'll get the ones for tomorrow. Hang on. All right, and these I'll use tomorrow for my breakfast. So there we go. So I'll use those tomorrow. Get a lid on it. And I'll just set this on top of my eggs. So hang on, and we'll work on the rest of it. So this is a new chopper, and I'm testing it out. It says that it is heavy duty, which we need for the rutabaga, but yeah, I know. Evidently, the bega has to be really thick. Okay, so here's what I'm finding. It's not so much the thickness, it is the surface area. So like one like this, it's doing really good. But one like this, well, that one doesn't fit. But one like this, it works harder. Whereas these littler ones, again, they're still thick. They're just smaller pieces. So I just have to do it more frequently. So at least I figured that out. So with what I'm doing with these bigger ones, I'm cutting them in half and then in half again. So I'm just cutting them into fours.
Your laundry timer is done.
Ziggy cancel timer. There's a bad spot in the middle of this one, so I'm going to trash that and that. Anyway, so, okay, well, now we know if we do them smaller pieces, it goes through them a lot better. So I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, yeah, so cutting them smaller made a huge difference. So it didn't take long hardly at all to get those done. So I like the texture of rutabaga. For those who don't know, the texture is kind of like a carrot. And anyway, tastes good to me. I know. So if I like them, why not eat carrots? Well, I don't know. Because I like these. And if you tried them, I think one of you said you did try them and didn't like them. Out of all the people on my channel who said they tried it, I think only one, maybe two people have said they didn't like it. Maybe two. Now, if you're one of the people that didn't like it, keep your mouth shut. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just being silly. Anyway, you know I get silly whenever I meal prep. Anyway, if you are somebody who has been converted over to the rutabaga, drop a comment down below and tell people how you use it. Because you see how I use it, but my gosh, there's so many of you all. And even if you're not a newly converted person to the bega, or Swede for those you know, in our motherland. Anyway, so if you like it, comment below like one of your favorite ways to eat it. Do you like it raw? Do you like it baked? Do you like it boiled? How do you make your rutabaga or swede? Because you know me, I'm all about the bega. Give me some kind of new tip because I will try it. So, all right, let's see what we're going to do next. So when I was at Walmart, I got these diced yellow onions. I bought 2 packages of them. I'm going to make something else later. But right now I'm just going to, it seems like when we dry them out a little bit, put them on a paper towel, they last longer. I'm going to be using them in my salad later too. But this container will be for my salad. So I'm just going to let it sit here on this paper towel and let it kind of absorb some of the moisture before I make my stuff out of it. In a little while, I'm going to saute up some onion and mushroom. I just love that on my meat. So we're going to do that later. So I'm going to set those off to the side here. I bought a jicama. If you see this, you know that it turned out good. This jicama, last couple times I bought a jicama, they were terrible. So I didn't even show that in my video. So let's just break down and see what it looks like inside. If it's bad, I'll just trash it. It's not bad, but it's not the best. So I'm still going to keep it in. I'll keep it in the video. So now I cut it in half. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can peel it with this. I'll be right back. So peeling a jicama is way different than peeling a rutabaga. Jicama is almost like a leather baseball. That outer surface, it's very, very weird. It's very stringy and tough. Like I said, just like a leather baseball. That's what it makes me think of. But I'm going to go on and slice it. I like the jicama raw. It has the texture of a water chestnut. But what I'm going to do is we're going to put it in a container by itself. I'm not going to put it in the salad when I make them up today. Because until I know whether it's good or bad, I for sure am not going to just toss it on my salad. So, we're going to go on and cube these up, and I'll be back. So, the difference between jicama, I want you to hear the difference. Listen. Think carrot, think very, very dense. That's rutabaga. Now jicama, hang on. Jicama, really, really chewy, really, it's a very watery type of vegetable. So it's not definitely not dense and hard like rutabaga. Now it's pepper time. If you're new to my channel, this is how I do my peppers. I push on both sides of that stem. I push in that little stem and see how it creates a hole. I put my thumbs inside the hole and I pry it open. And the seeds stick to this. And there's just a few seeds down in the bottom. So now let me go shake these out. And of course you can pull out the little membranes and stuff, but that's how I do a pepper. Again, push on each side. I just kind of push and push until it goes in. Thumbs in and pull apart. See how clean this one is? Maybe 1 or 2 little seeds. And then that's where all the seeds are. And then a few seeds here. So let's tap it so you see it on camera. So you see I'm not doing any shenanigans here. Then there's like a little bit attached to that, a little attached to that. And see there's a couple that are attached but only because they're wet. So then I rinse them off. And that's how I do my peppers. Now I'm going to cut them up. Now from here, you can make them into long strips, short strips, whatever kind of strips you want. If you want them for a salad, you can make them into chunks. So this is your, however you want to do your peppers. So you see how quick and easy that was. Then you just go zoop. zoop, and zoop. And we have literally cut up a whole pepper in that short amount of time. And there they are in strips. So that's how I do my peppers. I'm going to cut these up now. Okay, and there's my peppers. So peppers is another thing that if I add it to my salad, peppers are very wet, so I do not put them on my salad. Just like peppers and jicama, I wait until the night before, so I will not put any of these when I make up my salad. Last up is onions, and we know how onions affect me. And so I'm going to get my nose clip. And I need some gloves, so I'll be right back.
I got my nose clip on, my little swimming nose clip, and then I need gloves. Hang on.
I'm going to make fast work of this because I just have 2 onions. 1 red, or 2 reds, no whites, since I bought the already cut up white onions. So we're going to do this fast, y'all. So I'm going to peel off the outer 2 layers. I'm going to cut it down the middle. And then I'm going to rinse it off and see if that helps any. Okay. Now I'm going to cut it into kind of thicker slices because we're going to chop it up with the chopper. And then if I cut it up thicker, it'll be less time my face is over the onion. Alright, I'm leaving it just like that. Now I'm going to do the other one. I'll be right back. Okay, we have them in big cubes, so we're going to pop them on here. And we're going to cut them up into chops without having to use my own eyes. And hope for the best. Let's see, that's a lot faster. So now I'm going to get this other one done, and then we'll be back and see what we have left. So the last thing I want to do is saute up some onions and mushrooms. And I'm just going to use some butter. This is frozen butter because butter's just going to make it taste good. So I got 4 pats of butter. I'm going to let this melt and heat up, and then we'll add in our onions. Okay, I'm going to pour in these diced yellow onions. Remember, don't give your dogs onions. They're poisonous. I dropped one, so let me pick it up. I'm going to give this a toss. And we're going to saute these onions until they're about translucent. I don't want them to be all the way done because it's all going to finish up together. So I'm going to add those onions, and then we'll add the mushrooms when it is, we'll add the mushrooms when these are further along. Let's see if I have to wash these first. Wash before using, so I'm going to get these washed. They're starting to be translucent, but not quite all the way. So a little bit longer. That's what I call translucent. They're not white. They're just kind of almost yellowish now. They're just, each one is iridescent, almost pearly. So now I've washed the mushrooms. I'm going to add them in. Also, like onions, mushrooms are poisonous to your dog, so do not give onions or mushrooms to your dogs. I'm going to get them stirred up, and we'll check back, and I'll show you how I like my mushrooms. Got to let them sweat out that extra liquid. Mushrooms are pretty liquidy, so you got to let them sweat it all out, and then cook it till it all gets out of the bottom of the skillet. We're going to make up a salad. I'm going to show you, this is how, whenever I made it, I weighed it out in the past. So we're going to do that today. Just to kind of keep myself in check with my salads, I decided I was going to start weighing them. So we're going to make, I think, 6 salads today. So I'm going to zero this out. I'll have it set on grams. And I'm going to do 100 grams of cabbage. You can use this kind of cabbage. You can use the cabbage that you cut up yourself. If it's like 102, 104, it won't kill you. So there's 101. This is just a number that I put. It fit my macros. So if you want more, if you want less, you just make your salad be, you don't have to use cabbage, you can use lettuce. I just use cabbage because I like the texture and crunch of it. So I'm going to make out 6 of these. I'll be right back. I'm using a glove because I don't want to smell onions all day. Okay. And remember, it probably won't be precisely the exact number that you think it's going to be. And that's all right. But you zero it out. And, I mean, if it's like, you know, ends up being 62 or being, you know, 58, that's okay too. So there's that one. That's zeroed. So some red onions, some yellow onions, and I'm going to do this for the rest of them, and I'll be back with you. You can see the mushrooms are starting to sweat a little bit, like they're not as hard and dry, but that's not how I like them. I want them to be even more. Let me see if I can pull one up. See, it's kind of glistening. It's not hard and dry, but I want them to keep going because I want them to get further along. So I'll keep my lid on it and let it go for about 3 more minutes. I just take a look at them. I think it's been 6 minutes. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add is some rutabaga. Looks like I have on my thing to add 60 grams of rutabaga. It's about 2 handfuls. Well, that's 80. 70. All right, close enough, 66. So now I'll weigh, like I said, I'm weighing each one just so I can have an idea of how much I'm doing. And I'll finish up the other 4. Okay, so I have 6 salads made up. I'm going to put a paper towel on the top of each one of them. And this is what I'll do. I'll take a paper towel. I do not season them now, but I will season them and I'll add any wet vegetables or seasoning the night before when I'm packing up my lunch. So I'm gonna put the paper towel in and flip them upside down. I'll show you one more so you can see. I kind of tuck it around. Kind of tuck it into bed, put my lid on it and flip it upside down. And I'm going to store them all upside down. Okay, so here we are. We've got our 6 salads. I'm going to house them upside down. The night before, I will add any peppers or rutabaga or peppers or jicama to them. These are moist vegetables. I'll add the dressing and seasonings to them the night before, but that's how I make my salads. Okay, so now you can see how much the mushrooms cook down. And there's no extra water down in there. So I am going to, I told you all before, I used to do this. I added some something called Yoshidas, but I can't have that anymore. So we're going to add some instead. We're going to add some of this pineapple ginger seasoning or G-Hue sauce. Some pineapple ginger. We're going to finish that off. We're going to also add some G-Hue stir fry. If I had an open teriyaki, I'd use that, but this is just as good. Let's add a little General Tso. We're not making a Asian style stuff, but all these flavors definitely go well together. And so, you know, you go to a restaurant and you order a steak and you get sauteed onions and mushrooms on it. That's the flavor I'm going for. It's just some good flavored onions and mushrooms. So what I've got to figure out how to do is I want to put these in little containers so that I can either, I'll put this like in 5 servings, so that way I can either have it with lunch if I want to take it, or I can have it with supper depending on what I want. So I don't need this to like cook long because those flavors all marry together really fast. So now I'm going to turn off the heater or the burner, and I'm going to see what I'm going to use to put them to store it in. Hang on. All right, I'm going to use these little containers, and I'll just put one together, and we'll see how it works. I can even them out later. First, I just want to get the contents in these, and then I can measure them out and make sure they're all weigh about the same thing later on. So I'll get these scooped out, and I will show you how the portions end up being. Okay, so each of these weigh right at 100 grams. So imagine you pulled a steak out of your freezer or your refrigerator, and you're like, man, some onions and mushrooms will be real good. Bingo. Or you pull out a hamburger. Well, you got some of these made up, so these will go perfect. So anyway, so there we go. And that's all of my meal prep for the day.